Hi everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet this big and roomy round bottom market bag or shopping bag, and it's a super fun pattern to make and it's super pretty also. I love a shopping bag that's useful and pretty. And it's perfect for shopping at the store, at the farmer's market, or just a take-along bag for a project or something, maybe to the beach even. Now, you can make the bag with or without the drawstring. I like having it there. I like having the option. That way, when I purchase some things, I can just draw the drawstring in and my items will stay inside the bag. But at times, I want to be able to get in and out of my bag easily. Then I can just leave the drawstring hanging. Now, this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make the round bottom shopping bag, you're going to need about 5 ounces of a cotton blend, or a acrylic yarn. As long as it's a medium number 4, it will work. I prefer to use a cotton or a cotton blend just because when I use my shopping bags, I want to be able to wash them often and I want them to hold up well going through the wash. I usually just put them in the wash machine along with my towels, like my dish towels or my bath towels. And sometimes I'll put them in the dryer, and sometimes I'll just hang them up and let them dry by themselves. I want them to last as long as possible because I want to be able to use them over and over again. So you're going to need about 5 ounces of a medium weight number 4 yarn. That's like a peaches and cream, or this cotton cakes is what we're using today, or any of your Red Heart Super Savers or I Love This yarn. So you have lots of options for yarn there. This particular color is called Boho Floral, and I really like it. I think it works great for this pattern. We're going to be stitching today with our J hook, and that's a 6.0 millimeter crochet hook. It's a little bit bigger hook than I usually do, but I want it to be open and airy so it doesn't mold or mildew quickly. You're going to need your scissors and of course your needle for weaving in your ends. We'll be starting at the bottom of the bag and we're working around because this is the round portion of the bottom of the bag, and then work our way up. We'll start with our slip knot and then we're going to chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle. We'll take the tail of our yarn, put it over our hook, and pull that through that loop on our hook. Then we'll snug that down, and then just tie that little stay knot that keeps our loop from coming undone. Alright, so now we have our chain 5 loop. We'll put our hook in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And now we're going to stitch 11 more double crochets right in this chain 5 loop. And just a reminder, a double crochet, you yarn over, go in the hole of that loop and pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. Now, in using the J hook, it will seem a little bit loose, and that's kind of the look that we're going for because we want it to be open and airy for our bag. Alright, let's see how many I've done so far. Here's our chain 3 that counts as our first, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 double crochets. We're going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, then pull that loop over the loop that's on our hook, and then we'll chain 3. Now, you'll notice when I was stitching those 12 stitches, I stitched over that tail of yarn. And so I'm just going to gently pull on that and close that hole, and then I can come back in and weave that in later. And this is the way the row 1 should look. For row 2, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And we're going to stitch a double crochet right in that same stitch. And then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And so since row number 1 had 12 double crochets, row 2 will have 24 double crochets. So I'm stitching 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. And then I'll join back to the chain 3 that counted as our first double crochet. Two double crochets in each of the 12 double crochets around, then we'll join back to the chain 3. I've stitched those 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. I'm going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And again, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to stitch another double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3. In the next stitch, we're only going to stitch 1 double crochet. And for row 3, we're going to do what I call 1 and 2. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the next, 1 and 2. And then our repeat around will be 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 2 double crochets in the next, 1 and 2. One double crochet in the next and 2 double crochets in the next. And that's our repeat for row 3. 1 double crochet in the next double crochet and 2 double crochets in the next. And we'll repeat that 1 and 2, working all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I've completed row 3, stitching 1 and 2, 1 and 2 all the way around. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and again chain 3. And you should have 36 double crochets for row 3. All right, now for row 4, it's similar. We're going to still stitch 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. Then we'll stitch 2 together, or not 2 together, but 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And the way the repeat will work for row 4 is we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in the next. And so I call that 2 and 2. It's not an official term. It just helps me remember what I'm supposed to be doing. One double crochet in the next 2 stitches and 2 double crochets in the next. And again, we'll work this repeat all the way around and join to our chain 3. So there's 2 double crochets together, and then there's 1 more, and then 1 more in the next. So we're stitching 2 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next 2, and 2 double crochets in the next. And just to repeat, we're stitching this repeat, 1 double crochet in the next 2 and 2 in the next, working all the way around and joining back to our chain 3. I've completed row 4, stitching 2 and 2. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, now this is the last row we're going to do for the bottom of our round bottom bag, and we're doing it similar. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in that same stitch, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to place 2 double crochets in the next. So if we're keeping with our style or our pattern, we're doing 3 and 2. So the repeat is 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next. One double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and 2 double crochets in the next. And we'll repeat this 3 and 2, working all the way around this row, and again join back to our chain 3. I've completed row 5. You should have 60 double crochets around. I joined to the top of my chain 3 and chain 3. Now this next row we're going to be stitching the crossed stitches. Some people call them cross back stitches. And the way they work is you skip a stitch and then you cross back and stitch a double crochet in that skipped stitch. We've chained 3. We're going to yarn over and we're going to cross back to the previous double crochet, the last one of the last row. Yarn over and pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, just like a regular double crochet. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the second 2. That's our first cross stitch. And when we come around and stitch those cross stitches, we'll join back here to the chain 3, not this cross, but I'll help you do that when we get there. Alright, so let's stitch our cross stitches around. We're going to skip the next stitch and stitch a double crochet in the next stitch, just a regular double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over and cross back and stitch a double crochet in that stitch we skipped. You'll notice I'm going from behind and going through both loops. All right, let me pull this down so you can see a little better. Skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to double crochet in that skipped stitch. We're basically doing double crochets. We're just placing them in a different place. All right, let's keep going. Skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next. Then we're going to double crochet back in that skipped stitch. Skip the next and double crochet in the next. Then we'll double crochet in that skipped stitch. And you can see we're making little cross stitches, little X's. And we'll continue this on around this row. Skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet in that stitch that we skipped. Skip the next, double crochet in the next stitch. Then cross back and double crochet in the stitch that we skipped. Once you do this a few times, you'll see it's really quite simple. We'll continue to repeat this all the way around, and then I'll show you how to join when we get done. I've completed my cross stitch stitches, and your stitch count still should be 60 double crochets because we didn't add or subtract any stitches on this row. All right, now we've done our last cross stitch over here, and we're going to join, and we're not going to join to this crossed over stitch. We're going to join to that original chain 3, and it's behind. We'll join with the slip stitch and chain 3. And that just keeps the cross stitch look going, and it looks nice and neat as we go around. Now this next row is super duper easy. We're just going to place 1 double crochet in each of the stitches around. Our chain 3 is already in the chain 3, so we'll go to the next stitch. When you are double crocheting in something like this where there's different stitches, it can be a little confusing to know where to put your stitch. So if you look at the top, you can see the little, I always call this a braid, but it's the loops across the top. And if you just follow those loops and stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, you shouldn't have any problem knowing where to put your stitch. We're not going to be adding or subtracting any stitches. We're just stitching 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around. Just keep following those braids or loops at the top, and you shouldn't get off count. It actually should work relatively easy. One double crochet in each of the stitches around, working all the way around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I completed this row of double crochet. I joined to my chain 3 and chained 3. And again, you should have 60 double crochets. So what we're going to do now is we're going to repeat the cross stitch row and the double crochet row 8 more times, or a total of 16 more rows. When we complete the bag, we'll have 9 rows of the cross stitch row and 9 rows of the double crochet rows. So we're repeating the cross stitch row, double crochet, cross stitch, double crochet, cross stitch, double crochet, alternating rows for 16 more rows. This is the way that your bag should look after you repeated those 16 rows. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cross stitch rows, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochet rows because we alternated the cross stitch and the double crochet rows, and I love the effect it has on this bag for this pattern. After you've stitched your last double crochet row, and remember, if you want to make your bag longer, you can continue to repeat the cross stitch row and the double crochet for as long as you'd like your bag to be. When you've finished your last double crochet row, you've joined to the top of the chain 3, we're only going to chain 1. And that's because we're going to put a row of single crochet at the top of the bag. 1 single crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Then we'll place 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. And a single crochet, you go in the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. So I'm just placing 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. When we get back around, we'll join to our first single crochet with a slip stitch. I completed this row of single crochets all the way around. I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. Now our bag is ready to add the handles. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in the first 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now we're going to form the first handle, and we're going to do that by chaining 20, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, so now I have 10 single crochets and I've chained 20. I'm going to only skip 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to join to the next. Let me make sure I put it in the right spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to put my hook in the 11th stitch and stitch a single crochet. So that's 1, and then I'm going to stitch 20. So that's 1, so I need to do 19 more. Five, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, so I've got 10 single crochets. I skipped 10, I chained 20, and then I did 20 single crochets. So now we're going to make the second handle. We're going to chain 20. We're going to skip 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to join to the next stitch with a single crochet, and then we'll single crochet in the last 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let me just be real clear. We joined with the single crochet, and then we single crocheted 9 single crochets, and we're going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. All right, so let's look at our bag. And what you want to do at this point is make sure that everything is lined up. All right, let's look at it again. We did 10 single crochets, we chained 20, we skipped 10, and then we stitched 20 single crochets. We chained 20, we skipped 10, and then did 10 single crochets at the end. And if you did it correctly, everything should be nice and lined up. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets. Then we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of these 20 for our handles. Then we'll single crochet around, stitch a single crochet in each of these chains for our handles, and then end with single crochets. All right, so we're going to go right in our first stitch. We'll single crochet in these 10 single crochets. Now we're going to single crochet in each of the chains going around the handles. Then we'll place a single crochet in each of these 20 single crochets. And now we're going to single crochet in each of the chains of the second handle. Then we'll finish up this row by stitching 1 single crochet in these last stitches. And join to our first single crochet and chain 1. All right, so this is how it should look now. The handle's a little bit sturdier, and the top of our bag is a little bit sturdier as well. The last thing we're going to do is just place 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets, working all the way around. This is going to give us a sturdier top to our bag, as well as sturdier handles, so we can put some nice heavy things in our bag when we're at the store or the market. So we're stitching 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around, stitching in the top and in the handles of our bag. I finished stitching all the way around. Now my handles are nice and sturdy and I have a nice sturdy top to my bag. I'm going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. I'm going to go in that next stitch and pull that loop to the inside, so I have a nice clean finish to my bag. And I'll come back in with my needle and weave that in after a bit. This is how your bag should look, and it's a nice bag. It's sturdy, it holds a lot of good things, and it's a great shopping bag. But if you want your bag to be able to close a little bit and you want to add a drawstring, it's super easy. To add a drawstring to your bag, we're just going to make a slip knot and we're going to chain about 100 chains. And I know that's a lot of chains, but we want to be able to draw the string through the top of the bag and add a bow so that we can close it. And I like adding the drawstring because it gives it a little bit of a boho look to the bag. Alright, so let me get busy doing these chains and then I'll show you how to add the drawstring onto your bag. Once your drawstring is as long as you would like it, go ahead and cut your yarn. Make sure you got a little bit on the end there. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie a knot right in the end of each of the ends. And cut it. I'm going to do that to this side. And this just keeps it from coming undone. We don't want our chain to come undone. There we go. Alright, now let's add it to the bag. You can decide which front of the bag you want to use. It doesn't matter, whichever side of your bag you like the best. And we're going to be working through the top row of our crossed stitches. Cross or crossed, however you want to say that. And so this is the front of my bag, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go in and out of those holes that are made by those cross stitches. Then I'll grab my drawstring and pull it through. There we go. And I'll keep doing this around the bag until I get it all the way back around to the front. So we'll take the end of our hook and just go in and out, in and out, in and out. Grab our chain and pull it through. And I find this to be one of the easiest way to do a drawstring, because then you're not fighting with the hook or a needle or a pen or a safety pin or something. To me, this just makes a nice, easy way to do it. All right, we're moving back around to the front. We're almost to the front. Grab that chain and ease it through. Sometimes I lose it, it happens. There we go. And then we want to try to make sure it's nice and even in the middle. I'll pull this one over. There we go. And then we'll pull this and make sure everything's even. Looks like I need to pull some more of the chain this way. There we go. And what I do is about couple inches from the end, I just tie a knot, and that's going to keep it from coming out. That way, if you don't want to use the drawstring on one particular shopping occasion, you don't have to, and it can just hang there and look pretty. But if you've got some apples and oranges or maybe some squash in there and you don't want it to come out, you can just pull the drawstring and you're good to go. So that gives you two options on how to use your shopping bag. And I love this one. I love how this yarn worked with it. And I know you will too.